Welcome to Live from the space at 100 Taylor, and we're thrilled to have Amanda Fields and Megan McCormick on the show. Megan, Amanda.
Hello.
Hey, Jamie.
I can't tell you how happy I am that you guys are here. For so many reasons. For so many reasons. First of all, most importantly, as human beings, you guys are like incredible from the minute that like we first saw you guys in the community. You guys just have incredible auras and spiritual, and then of course as talented people and everything. So thank you guys for being here.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much, Jamie. Likewise, too.
Thank you, Amanda. Amanda, I have to ask you, I saw you play in like a month ago at Dee's here, a great local place in Nashville, and you just had everybody's jaws on the floor. But
Wow.
I had heard you sing before, but you struck me as someone who, like, just out of nowhere, like, learned how to sing. And obviously you put in the 10,000 hours at some point in your life.
Oh,
When did you put in the practice?
oh I started early.
Started early?
Yep. As soon as I could talk, I was singing.
Really?
Yep. Yeah. No formal training, just a natural born to sing, really, you know.
Unbelievable. Blue Ridge Mountains, right?
Yeah. I'm from Blue Ridge, Virginia, originally.
Yeah. What is it about the Blue Ridge Mountains, Amanda? Because obviously there's like a magic there. I mean, I've covered a few festivals, there, Floyd Fest, and there is something, and I know you know this is a true musician, but there is like a magic in the Blue Ridge Mountains, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that there's magic to be found in nature everywhere, in everything, but I'm from there, so I'm totally partial. But watching the seasons change there is beautiful, and it's just very inspiring to me.
Absolutely.
But it's home, so
Beautiful.
that's why I feel
It's
like
beautiful.
that.
By the way, Megan, we're like in the holidays taping this. Like, are you like a big Thanksgiving, Christmas kind of gal?
I'm big into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've even these last few years without having like company and family around except for the two of us, you
Yeah.
know, I still made a full-blown, full-scale Thanksgiving the last
Oh,
2
yeah.
years, pretty much.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
So what do you guys do? Like, you guys put up a tree, like the whole thing, like
Oh yeah.
stocking socks, all that stuff?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And I think we talked about this once off the record very briefly, guys, but I'm so curious about this, because
Yeah.
you guys are like a power couple, like a musical power Nashville couple. And there's
How
obviously,
about that?
Yeah, baby.
there's a lot of, couples in music history, have been eternal Neil Giraldo, Paul and Linda McCartney, Sonny and Cher, Amanda and Megan. But the question, I guess, is, and we talked about this, but I find it fascinating, like, how do you guys separate the line, the professional and personal life? Because one thing is keeping your connection and your relationship alive and flourishing. The other one is that creative part. What is the trick there, Amanda?
The trick is there's no separation.
Yeah.
That we don't compartmentalize our lives and just try to live, holistically and honestly. And, we make music together at home for fun. And we do it in the studio for fun and professionally. And
So in other words, and Megan, like if Amanda goes, to the post office and ships the wrong thing or gets the wrong thing at Whole Foods, it doesn't affect the fact that you have a writing session like 20 minutes right after. Right?
No.
You don't take that into the writing session.
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, I mean, for me, I've never been in a relationship with someone where I co-wrote. I've been in relationships in the past where I played music with, or was sort of, loosely involved with music with somebody, but I've never gone deep diving, soul diving with a partner in songwriting like I have with Amanda, and it was, unless I'm completely in the dark, I don't think we've written a song that I don't feel very strongly about or that really spoke for that moment, for that, inspiration, I guess. But
And it's interesting.
yeah, I think yeah, there's just a different, I feel like I've met my match in that regard. And also I haven't been very inclined to set up a bunch of other co-writes. Like when we were at Dee's, seeing Robbie Hecht, I'm like,
Yeah.
I've mentioned Robbie to you.
Yeah.
But during the pandemic, so I thought I take a medication that made me at higher risk for hyperinflammation. So the whole time during the pandemic, I was thinking, you must, at all costs, you have to avoid. And so we were so wrapped tight and locked down at home until that Dee's show.
That is
So we
incredible.
finally got our dose of it. But the thing is, there's been so much freedom since then.
Yeah.
And now thinking about sharing the experience of writing with Amanda, with other people, to maybe, like with Robbie, with Sister Strings, different friends, like, I feel so happy and proud,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to bring my favorite co-writer with
Absolutely.
me and to follow her wherever she's going.
Absolutely. Well, Amanda is she's like a hidden ace for sure. Like we're totally listening to your old stuff and your older records, and your songwriting is just pure. It's just raw. Like you have that one song about death, and it is like man, it just hits you up in the spine, and it's just like a special thing. So I know you guys talk about this all the time. And I'm sorry, you probably talk about it every week, but like on the record, how did you guys meet?
I was playing.
Your perspective first, then we'll get yours.
And then we'll get. So I was playing on a run of shows with Jim Lauderdale playing guitar, and I think so. My friend Jeremy was managing him, or is still managing him, but I didn't know anybody else in the band. I sort of had played with Micah, keyboard player Micah Hilscher in different scenarios,
he's great,
right? But I was like on this little week-long run with all brand new, the only chick on a bus full of dudes, and just sort of like hanging. And I was starting to get to know Frank Rishi was playing guitar too. And he's like, "Do you know Amanda Fields?" I was like, "Man, I've heard her name so many times, but yeah, I haven't." We haven't crossed paths yet.
Yeah.
And then I think, at some point like that day or the next day, I was like on Instagram and I look over and I'm like, who's this?
Yeah, it's a good-looking chick.
I was like, okay, yeah.
Slid into her DMs, right?
Follow. And then we're playing at Grimey's was our last show of like, once we got back to Nashville, we played at Grimey's, and Amanda was there to see Frankie. To come, and you were a Jim fan,
I'm a big Jim Lauderdale fan, and I had just met him a few months earlier at Merle Fest, so I was kind of, hang out where he was at and hear his tunes.
Yeah, and then...
And I walk in, and she's playing guitar at Grimey's on stage, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. I'm in the right place right now.
Yeah. You do have a thing, Megan, where I've seen you with like a bunch of different artists, and I always end up looking at you, and you're playing guitar.
Right on.
So...
It's got the swagger.
Absolutely. It's like, I don't care. I don't care that that's, Tom Petty's ghost there. I know. It's like, who's this chick?
That's great. That's good.
So then, you guys went out and the rest is history kind of thing.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's it. We've been circling around each other for years. We live one street away from each other, and we lived on the same street.
And a couple hundred of mutual friends, literally. A couple hundred people.
We both lived in Johnson City and went to ETSU and never met for years and years.
Both spent time in Humboldt, California. Both.
All
That's
over,
crazy.
all over
So
the
it just
place.
clicked. It was just meant to
We
be.
might have been like the same person that like eventually split off, and now we're Amanda
I know.
and Megan.
Isn't that amazing?
But we might have been.
It's unbelievable.
Soulmates.
I love it. And then, seeing you play, technically, it was spellbinding how good and like the details you were. Like you were, I shouldn't have been surprised, but you were just obviously very prepared, very adept at what you were doing. And I guess the question is, I was hearing the other day an interview from Tom Petty saying that if he would screw up Wildflowers at the end of the song or something, even if the rest of the show was great, he would kind of take that to the next. He couldn't focus. He would be so upset with himself until the next show. Do you relate to that a little? Like if you kind of like fuck up a song, and you as well, we can answer as well. Do you have a thing, Megan, where like, I mean, I've seen you with like a bunch of different artists, and I always end up looking at you, and do you like carry it with you as an artist into the next show, or do you kind of just like let it go?
I never really had until the pandemic changed. It changed me, you know.
How so?
The lack of social connection and everything, and I've kind of described it to some people as I lost a little bit of my confidence. I lost a little bit of my swagger just because I didn't have, you know, it was me and Megan, and thank goodness that I had Megan during all that time. But I'm getting it back now, and being in school and getting back out and playing shows, I've gotten it back.
You got a lot of swagger. If you don't mind me saying.
Yeah.
I need some of that.
Same.
but yeah, I'm bouncing back from the effects of the pandemic, and so, you know, after the D show, I felt like, you know, I had to go home and I had so much work to do. I needed to practice and you know, for hours to get back to where I was before the pandemic. You know, I was playing 3 or 4 days a week downtown before everything shut down.
Do you over practice? Like, do you feel like, you know, you have to super practice like a lot to be ready for something, or?
I wouldn't say over practice, but I like to be prepared. You know, and I like to imagine the situation before I get there and who's going to be there, and you know, just to have some planning and some.
Just the care.
Absolutely.
The care and intention.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about you, Megan? Like, let's say that, you know, you had a run with Allison or with Jenny Lewis or whoever, and you fuck up at the end of the song during, you know, whatever. She's not me. I don't know. At the end. Do you carry that with you, or do you let it go?
I'd say.
She doesn't fuck up.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like maybe something that only you know. You know?
I think like. Maybe for me, I've worked really hard at trying to not let that kind of mentality swallow me up, because it is my natural inclination is to be so incredibly hard on myself.
Really?
Yeah, that you know, to a place of feeling like I'm, you know, not good enough to be in the room that I'm in with the musicians that I'm in, or you know, I'm arriving to do a show or a certain task or session and feeling like, you know, there's just, I have that ability to totally descend into self-doubt in a very deep way. I think that I hadn't had such a hard time as I did for whatever reason. I think I'm so like protective and or proud and or afraid to show, like I'm so protective of my person first of all, and also so proud of it, but I feel like sometimes it can be both encouraging and stressful to play for your peers and your friends. Like in any normal town anywhere, it wouldn't feel that way. It would be, I would never leave a show and think so much about what those people thought of it. Right. I would assume that the live music and the togetherness and all of this, but I think my mind unfortunately leads to that place of like, what did somebody else think, you know? Was I singing flat? Like I was having a hard time with the sound at D's. So I left that show, and I probably got in her head about it, but I was like, I think my intonation was so bad. And it took me having that experience to realize, oh my goodness, okay, I'm sorry, I lost the point there for a minute. I lost my way, because it was 12 hours later that I saw something that you posted, a clip of it, and I'm like, I'm crazy. It was a wonderful show. It was that group of people in that place, in that time, together for that reason.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is, did you bare your soul?
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Yes, I did. And for some reason, that's all that matters. Yeah. But that show was especially
awakening.
It was an awakening. Yeah, it really was.
Great.
But either that or all of those feelings were like the coronavirus crawling inside my mind. It was like, I've got you.
Yeah.
In my
Right.
mind, you start
Right, exactly.
self-doubt.
So for the record, a bunch of people in that room that night got coronavirus. That's where that joke came from.
Yes.
I don't believe I did, but who knows? Yeah. And then actually, Megan brings an interesting point. The fact that like in that room and like when you're playing in places in Nashville, the community rallies behind you and everyone is really waiting for your record next year and everyone is super excited about it. And that is beautiful, but it's also nerve-wracking that like, in the front row, you have people like, like Katie Pruitt or like Sister Strings and stuff like that. Your peers are like some of the best in the world or in Music City.
Yes.
Is that like great that they're supporting you, but also like, oh my God, they know that, that I played A minor Ronda,
You're supposed to go to the 4 chord.
Yeah, that was intimidating. Bunch of heavy hitters at that show.
Yeah, drinking Topo Chico, looking at you, just sticking between the,
Yeah,
Right.
but ultimately, it's inspiring,
Yeah.
and it drives us both to be better.
Yeah.
We want to write better songs. We want to perform better, and it's inspiring.
You step up.
Yeah.
You step up. That's
Yeah.
right. You rise to the occasion.
Absolutely. And speaking of becoming a better writer, and thank you guys for your time. You guys are being awesome. Amanda, like you have a new album coming out. I'm sure you write almost every day, but you're also now doing a master's, right? You're doing a master's in like mental health
Yes.
at Belmont.
That's right.
That is incredible on so many angles. But I guess like let me ask you this angle, like how has that like made you like a better writer? I would imagine super interesting new angles, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely interesting new angles. It has opened up a whole new world to me,
Yeah.
and new inspiration, new topics to write about, and
Like how are you seeing like the artist communities like mental health struggles? How do you see them now that you're like academically like understanding like what's happening? Do you see like maybe why so many of our peers unfortunately take their own lives or they drink too much? Do you start seeing patterns?
I'm beginning to learn how to assess people,
Yeah.
how they present themselves, and but at the same time, I'm getting all the clinical information, but everything just deepens my compassion and gets me closer to the place where I'll be able to actually care for people
Okay.
in the way that is
Amazing.
needed. in
You're
their
creating like a superhuman, like a super creative artist
Yeah.
that is also changing the world in many ways. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
Yeah.
you're gonna play a song for us, and we're really
Yes.
excited. But Megan, let me ask you this before you do.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about female representation in the producing ranks
Yes.
in the music industry today, and like you're an incredible producer. Many people don't know that. There's other incredible, gifted, talented people like friend of our show, Brandy Sedan, for example. But it's still not represented enough.
Yeah.
Why is that? Is it simple gender thing? Like what is it?
I think it is to some extent. I think there's a level of, I think that there's talent there for it, but there's a level of, I guess, understanding that has to come up. Or maybe it's not understanding, but I think that for a lot of men, or say maybe especially white men, it's so easy, I think, and natural to walk into a room and to stand proud and feel commanding and capable, and to already resemble an authority figure or a leader figure, because look at history. Look at all of the authorities or leader figures that look like you. I think that we're still I think we want it, and like people like Brandy and I think that we have the skill set. I know the desire is there, and I know that, I don't know, I think it's just going to take some, for male artists especially,
Yeah.
it's just going to take some people getting out of
the
their
limiting
comfort
belief,
zone,
yeah.
which is what, I think for me, I went through, as an artist, as a young artist, I felt like it was like producer speed dating to figure out who I was going to finally make my debut album with, you know? And so I've gone through, I've been a session player on other people's record and watched how their producers are working with people. I've been produced by a plethora of producers.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling that it's maybe that's sort of the apex of my skills and my intentions is to help lead people down that path.
Secret is out. You're gonna be saying no to it. You're gonna be like supermarket sweep. People are gonna go straight for Megan McCormick. We're gonna Megan McCormick.
Hey, I would love to. It's my favorite part, to help people assemble great material, either help them finish writing something, but assemble great material and to provide in a similar but different way, to be able to provide the utmost care for people while they're going through an extremely intimate time, to make an album, to be, putting together your thoughts, what's your heart and what's in your mind, and to be going through that process, I think does require a lot of care, and that's something that comes natural. So full speed ahead.
Full speed ahead. Yeah. Great time to.
We wrote a woke-ass country song.
Woke-ass country, exactly. We'll see.
Yep. This is Show Me Your Tears. It's a song we wrote with our brother Bob Sumner, an artist from up in Canada. He's a songwriter and
wrote this when he was down in Nashville, right?
Yeah.
And he's hoping we found a progressive enough guy to be able to sing this one. If not, this gal here's got it.
Okay, here's Show Me Your Tears. Running uphill, thinking backwards, hammering pain, like his father's father taught him the old ways of the home. Letting go is easy, and hard times are fair. You can turn a blind eye to a man on the street, alone in despair. But I've got news. Times are a-changing. There's a new kind of man. To hell with time wasting. Get it out while you can. And to the fellas in the way back, run in your heart like it's a quarterback. Don't need to conquer your fears, that ain't why we're here. Show me your tears. Sometimes it takes a good woman to make a good man. Sometimes the love of another in the touch of her hand.
a quarterback. No need to conquer your fears. That ain't why we're here. Show me your tears. No need to conquer your fears. That ain't why we're here. Show me your tears. Yeah. What do you think?
We did it.
Unbelievable. That is incredible, guys.
Thanks so
I
much.
say my chills of chills, but that would not even give. Thank you guys for doing that.
Oh,
That's
yes.
incredible.
Thank you for having us, Jamie.